Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm sorry I've been away for a long time now. I can't say it's a short time. I can't say it's been a minute. It's been a while. I've been away. I got a few challenges with my previous videos, and so I thought of maybe taking some time and learning how to do a few things. It has taken me some time. I haven't learned everything yet. I'm still learning, but I think I'm better placed. And so I've come back. And so, karibuni sana. Sorry for those who subscribed and waited on me and they didn't get so much from me and they went. Kindly come back. You know how we do it. We touch the subscribe button. Touch. Yes, and when you touch it, it reads subscribed. And when it reads subscribed, you don't touch it again. You remember? Yes, that's a drill. And for our new subscribers, karibuni sana. Do the same. Touch the subscribe button. Kindly subscribe. Let's grow the family. Touch the notification button because now, after this video, many more are coming. I would want you to be notified anytime I upload, and so kindly touch the notification button and let it notify you anytime I upload. For my new subscribers, I'm Susan All Seasons. I'm a mother of 3, married to one handsome man, and I'm born in a family of 4, 3 girls and 1 boy, married to a family of 5, 1 girl and 5 men. And I'm privileged to have my biological and my in-love parents alive. So I am privileged and I am glad and I'm blessed. I'm happy that this is an opportunity I'm living in. I'm happy to be here to bring you a topic that is so close to my heart. I have quite some passion towards empowering women, bringing the best version of a woman, a wife in waiting. For me, that's my inclination, and I am ready to do this on this platform. I've been doing it in other platforms, in weddings, in gatherings, in birthdays, but on a YouTube channel or a YouTube platform, this is my very first time I am going to do this, and I'm hoping I'll do it with all proficiency and with a lot of keenness, because again, this is quite a public space. I need to be careful what to say and how to say it. But I tell you with a lot of confidence that it's an area I have taught. I have been asked questions, and even in the near future, I'm going to be training this topic to also a group of other married couples, and so it's something that has worked in other people's lives. I hope it works in yours too. Karibu sana, let's do this together. Our topic is one that is not very common, or it's one that we hardly sit down and ask ourselves before we get married. We ask ourselves in most cases when we get married. There's this statement that flies, that a marriage is the institution that you're given a certificate before you are trained. you pass the exams and given a certificate before you're trained. And indeed, I also want, I think, to echo the same, that some things you don't learn before you get married. You learn them in marriage. And that is why some of us are here. Not because we are very perfect. If anything, as I am training every day, I sit in a class training or talking to women, or even in seminars. There are things that God puts in my heart, and when I am bringing them forth, I learn. I get to ask myself, for the whole 15 plus years, why haven't I done this? Because marriage is very dynamic. Every day there's something to learn, there's something new. You can't really sit back and say, now I'm perfect in this. No. So I am bringing it forth to you, not because I have perfected in that area, but because I have an experience in it. And with this experience, I'm sure will help someone out there. So sit back, and kindly I would want to ask you, don't go before you, don't lose us, or don't lose me. Let's stay till the end, because it is good to learn. There are those things that we already know, but we need to relearn. We need to revise. That is why we even revise in class. That is why we read the Bible again and again. That is why we remind ourselves every time, because we are human. We tend to forget. So for those who are experienced or have been in this for long, let's remind ourselves. For those who are new with these topics, let's learn and let's put these things into practice. They will help us in life. So our topic today is a simple topic, one that not so many times we get to ask, even when we go for premarital classes. You don't want to hear that question, and even when it is asked, because I think I remember my reverend asking me this question, but I thought I had an obvious answer. But when you get into it, the marriage, is when you realize it was not that obvious. The roles and responsibilities of a woman in marriage. It's our topic today. The roles and responsibilities of a woman in marriage. Can we ponder? Can we ask ourselves this question? Why did I get married? Why do I want to get married? Why we ask, and why it is important to ask yourself this question, is because the why will keep you in that marriage even when the marriage redefines itself. Because anytime we are getting married, any girl, any woman preparing for marriage. I have a friend who is getting married on Friday, and she has waited for this time. And I'm so sure right now in her head, what is going through her mind is the moment of love, the moment of being spoiled, the moment of honeymoon, the moment of getting your home, a cozy home, being driven to work, those ideas. But when rubber meets road, even a cozy home at times does not make sense. Even being driven to work at times really does not apply. The question why is the thing that will keep you even when the cozy home does not come. The why question is what will, and I'm not ignorant of the fact that we are all sustained in our marriages by God. I'm not ignorant of that. By now, I understand that God is the founder, is the foundation of my marriage. By now, I know that. I'm not ignorant of that. But there's this question, very, very important question that I need to ask myself. Why am I married? Why do I want to get married? Number one, you want to get married to be a wife. That's very true. But ask yourself, who is a wife? Not everyone who gets married becomes the wife we're going to talk about here. Because every person has a definition of who a wife is. When you ask me, before I sat down and researched and read and asked questions and watched videos, and I knew being a wife is being the woman of that home who does the womanly chores in a home. The womanly chores are, in most cases, cooking, cleaning, organizing, giving birth. The womanly chores, that is becoming a wife. But growing up and realizing that that's not just enough, I got to ask myself, who is then a wife? Because if I roll the first role of the woman in marriage is to be a wife, I asked myself then, who is a wife? And this question was well answered by one motivational speaker. May his soul rest in peace, who told me that a wife, and I'm going to read it for you, is the woman who is able to bring out the kingship of a man. The wife, or a wife, is a woman who is able to bring out the kingship of a man. That was not enough. I had to find out, what does that mean? And it got defined. Now I had to really look for this information in a deeper way. How do you tell me to bring out a kingship or a king out of a man? And I got this inspiration that every man has a kingship in himself. Every man, every born man has the capacity to be a king in himself. The only difference between all of them is the environment by which that man is in. Because in one environment, a king will be suppressed. In another environment, a king will be brought forth. How do you bring out the kingship in a man, from a man? Is by being respectful. Role number one is to be a respectful woman to your man. You are not a wife because you wash clothes. Good enough. You're not a wife because you cook food. Perfect. You're not a wife because you're able to give birth. Very good. You're a wife because the man who is in your life is able to bring forth his kingship. You're able to bring forth the kingship in him out. It is your sole responsibility. In the same way God cannot worship himself, it is in the same way a man cannot bring forth his kingship by himself. Someone has to do it. Someone is you. And that is how you become a wife. Make sure that this man feels that he is the head. He is in control. That he is respected. That his opinion is respected. That he's walking through the door to your house is a huge gesture that is welcomed by the woman of the house. I am so sure I'm going to get criticism with this, but this is the truth. No woman should embarrass her husband in public. No woman. Don't disrespect your man in public and even in private, and you shall be a perfect wife. You'll thank me later. If that man can walk out of your house, go to work, go to the office, and when seated, receives a respectful message from you, that man can do anything for you as a wife. Men are born men, and that will never change. Even when we look for equality, we look for moderation, we look for whatever it is, a man will always be the man. And a man is born with such levels of ego that if you suppress it, the ego, the man will coil himself and will walk out on you and will look for solace elsewhere. Believe you me, no man is a fool. Very few are born fools. I doubt if there is any. You will not suppress his ego, and then he goes to the office. He goes to the environment out there and finds a soul which is so ready to soothe his ego and still look back. very few. Pray to God that yours will be among the very few. Usicheze na uraibu. Don't joke with the manhood don't joke with an ego of a man and expect him to love you. Don't be disrespectful to your man and expect him to love you. You will think you have conquered because you have more money than him, you're more educated than him, you're more famous than him, and so you're driving a better car than him, and so you think you have become his superior. If that man gets an opportunity to be given his position by someone else, his position is the head, is the king by someone else, you will lose him for a small thing called respect. Don't joke with the respect, power to a man. In the same way, you need to be loved by that man. In the same way, you should respect him. Point number 2. We shall do this in our next video.